already know, man. It's Deion Dawkins, and you listening to the Real Deal Sports Show on the Beat 105.5.
Woo! Welcome to the Real Deal Sports Show. We got the whole crew together. The whole crew, and nothing but the crew, man. It is so exciting. I'm the fanatic. We got my right-hand man, J-GILLZ. Congratulations again on being a new master's student. Man, I just told him he's a part of an elite of the elite population. That's what we do here. We got the host, the originator, the man, the myth, the legend, the rad man, the best in the game, who's going to bring you sports of all sorts, making sure you get all the information necessary. We got Mr. Astute, always going to talk smoother than the Board of Health talking. That is Big Mike Rad. And then, we got on the ones and twos, the one and only DJ BacSpin. But good morning, fellas. How's everybody feeling?
Doing well.
Feeling great, man. Feeling great. Feeling marvelous, coming to y'all live from the Rock Pawnbroker studio. And I know all of us must be doing way better than Scottie Scheffler after the PGA. Having a rough go of it over there, man. I can't imagine going ahead or any other scenario where you could go ahead, be arrested while off of the job, coming from a PGA event, and then being back there on the course the very next day after your mugshot went around the internet. Very interesting days that we live in, gentlemen.
Yes, indeed. It's the same day. A couple hours after the incident. The incident happened around 6 a.m. Central Time, and this gentleman looks like the way it went down, looked like he could have been very belligerent to the officer in question. I don't when there's a black man with a dispute, they never say it's a misunderstanding. It was just a man, but they always use the word belligerent. You ever notice that? That always got under my skin all the time. And then nobody once said that this Scottie cat got belligerent with the officer. And then we find out later he actually dragged the officer. So the officer must have been saying, move into this lane here. And he said, no, I got to get here. I'm a golfer. I got to do whatever he was saying to him. And he just turned the car toward the officer to go his regular route, not really caring that somebody had died up ahead. The shuttle bus had hit somebody. And unfortunately, our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of that person that was killed out there, in Louisville, Kentucky, at the near the entrance to the Valhalla Golf Club there, country club. A year ago today, it was right here in Rochester, New York. We were broadcasting live from Oak Hill Country Club for last year's PGA Championship. So we're out there. We're up early at 5, 6 a.m. taking the shuttle buses. And as you remember, J-GILLZ, that those buses left like every hour, every half hour, every 20 minutes. Remember that, J-GILLZ?
Oh, absolutely. And when I first heard the story, I said, man, Adam, this guy just pulled a Sandra Dorley is what he did. The audacity demands, you know what I'm saying? They're telling you to stop right now. They're telling you to stop. It's been a homicide, a death. It's been a death, a tragic incident. And as Ratman said, thoughts and prayers to the family. But the audacity to just try and drive around, just to get in there and play some golf, man. I understand you're the number one golfer in America. I understand you just won the Masters. I even understand you just had a baby. You on one right now. You feeling good. But, man, you got to humble yourself. And every time it's a black officer, if it wasn't for the ESPN guy getting that video showing us a black officer, and even he, a member of the media, had a problem with the black officer. It seemed like he was kind of giving them a little bit of smoke. Oh, I didn't know he was a police officer. Man, you knew exactly who he was, but you didn't want to stop. You felt entitled, and you had the pride to keep on driving while you had an officer attached to you. Man, he pulled a Sandra Dorley, and he shouldn't have been able to golf right now. He should have been suspended from the PGA, kicked out and booted, because we all know if it was anybody else, if it was Tony Fontu, or if it was the other guy with the Jordan representative, or any of those black golfers, they would have been done. But nah, this is Scottie, and you know what? They want to just keep that image going. Man, he just pulled the Sandra Dorley. It was terrible.
Now, wait a minute, fellas. All I can say is, listen. This is a weird situation, and y'all not wrong, but to me, I want to know what was really going on. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I think we all have been, but I'll speak for me personally. There's definitely some times where you're in a line and these officers, you don't really know where they're trying to point you to, especially if it was dark. It was 6:22 in the morning. Now, Scottie Scheffler, to be fair, he was not only arrested, he was charged with felony assault on a police officer and reckless driving. So to me, he got some stuff to figure out. But to me, I want to shout out. We talked last week. I talked about my 5 players who are too soft in my mind to win an NBA championship as a lead or co-lead big dog. Hey, this dude got some. He got some grapefruits. He has some mental stability, because after all that, he went out there and he's still tied for fourth place. He shot a 5 under yesterday. I couldn't imagine all that going on. My mug shot, I get arrested and charged, and then I come back on the golf course a few hours later and shoot a 5 under par. Hey man, Scottie Scheffler, I don't know what happened in the morning, but you show why you are the world number 1. He really is in contention in this weekend. But you're right, J-GILLZ, they did not want to lose him.
Absolutely.
Golf doesn't want to lose him.
Exactly. And with the gentleman being taken off, I thought that was with the officer speaking and saying that he's going to jail and you can't do anything about it, leads you to believe that. I wonder what the media was saying to the officer in question at the time for him to respond emotionally and with that type of edict to him. You just can't do that off the course. If something like that happens, I still say he should not have been allowed to play in yesterday's second round, which would have been disqualified. Would have disqualified him from the tournament, because that's something that's it's a felony charge, and he dragged an officer. It must have been witnesses or something. He actually dragged it. The man tried to stop him from doing what he was doing, and he actually did that and was arrested. And the video from the video that surfaced and shows it, you see that the guy, you didn't see what actually happened, but you saw him in handcuffs, saw him being led away to a police car, saw the buses stop there, saw all the police sirens. And if you see that many police cars and lights, you know something's going on. You just don't react and say, I'm going to continue to do my thing. So I really think the PGA dropped the ball and not allowing allowed their top golfer to come and really snub his nose at what he did earlier in the day. Because if that was Tiger Woods, they may not allow Tiger Woods to play if that was the case, the way Tiger's sliding at the present time. And he had a bogeys and he had a rough second round, which is suspended. They're still working on the second round, playing this morning, starting in the next hour. The second round will be picking up of the PGA Championship. But guys, we don't let it be known. See what happens down the road. And remember, we're broadcasting live from the Rock Palm Broker Studios each and every Saturday morning here, talking sports of all sorts. Fanatic?
Yeah, no doubt. So let's go ahead and transition. Let's talk about the Buffalo Bills, man. It is NFL season almost. Man, nobody does this media better, man, than the NFL. They had a whole schedule drop. I loved it. It was almost, they had the leaked tracks come out. Oh, here's Adam Schefter. Let me tell you about Monday night over here. Ooh, let me tell you that all the divisional matchups will be a rematch in the next season. The NFL, man, they kill it. I will say before I set up this question is, the NFL, y'all getting a little wild. Man, they on every single service, man. They got Prime now, Netflix. You're going to have to pay like $60, man. Just next thing you know, they're going to tell us we got to watch it on Stars, which, man, Stars is always high, man. HBO Max in a minute. NFL, they got revenue income and revenue sources from everybody. But I digress. But, hey, let's talk about the Buffalo Bills schedule. Yeah, and they go ahead and start with the Cardinals. Go ahead, Rad, man. What were you gonna say?
Well, they might work a deal with 50 Cent to cut in on his shows, man, over there on Stars, man. Now that you mentioned it, he tried to get some money, man. All of them, unbelievable how they just progressing. That all these streaming services are now paying for 1 or 2 games. I mean, to me, it's like, oh my God, this is getting out of hand. Getting out of hand.
No doubt. Well, let's talk about it. The Cardinals. They are going to be the first game of the season. The last time that the Bills played, D-Hop caught that crazy Hail Mary by Kyler Murray. You saw those big
Hail Murray
going up. Yeah, the Hail Murray. So I know Keon Coleman, it was his birthday yesterday. So I know he's excited to see what it looks with the Cardinals. But what's the initial thoughts overall, fellas, with the Bills' overall schedule and then starting week 1 with the Cardinals? Go ahead, J-GILLZ, you first.
When I initially looked at the schedule, because you know I'm a Dolphins fan as well, so a lot of those teams, you know, we're playing the same divisions, the NFC West and the AFC South, and I don't see either. I see it being pretty decent. You know, until the dust settles, we don't know what these teams are going to be. We don't know what injuries will take place. We don't know what surprising stars will emerge. However, when I looked at the schedule initially, I said this is a pretty easy schedule. I'm not too threatened by the AFC West or the NFC West or the AFC South. You know, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Tennessee Titans, the the Houston Texans. It's going to be a tough one there always, but I view these as winnable games. When I looked at the roster constructed by Brandon Beane, looking at these added receivers, these added weapons, the chemistry that Josh Allen now has with his number one target, which I think will be Dalton Kincaid this year. I think that in another year under Joe Brady, I think that it's not going to be as much retooling and refining as people are going to think. I think that this offense led by Josh Allen can be one of the better offenses in the league. Spreading the ball around, he's got a lot more weapons than he's had in the past. So ultimately, I think that they have a chance to make the playoffs, and I don't think that it's going to be a learning as we get there type of season as many Bills fans are thinking.
Yeah. Go ahead, Radman. What do you think?
Oh, I think the Bills caught a big break with the home opening with the Cardinals. I was hoping it was the Patriots. I thought they should open with the New England Patriots, get that era going with the new in-division game with the Pats versus Bills. But the Cardinals coming in to be a good matchup for the Bills. And then the biggest break of all is playing Miami at night on a Thursday night instead of a Sunday at 1 p.m. We all saw what happened when the Bills ran out of gas down there in Miami. Guys throwing up on the field, on the sideline, guys cramping up, guys that heat. It was so hot. We were in the press box. We had just walking, me and Mighty over, just walking from the parking lot to the stadium, man. Our shirts were drenched by the time we got there, man. It was just, but that's how humid it was. And just walking, you would get drenched. So let alone playing a physical football game, the Bills got a big break. By not having to play at that 1 p.m. time frame in Miami. Instead of playing Thursday night at 8 p.m., it's a big break for Buffalo early in the season. They have some other primetime games on early. I think that'll help jumpstart them and keep them focused after the Dolphins, the Jaguars coming in for a Sunday night game. I don't know why the world, who wants to see the Bills and Jags? I don't know why that's a primetime game, to tell you the truth. But the next one, the Bills-Ravens, I can see that being definitely good prime. The one I would have thought would have been primetime was Bills versus Texans with Diggs and everything and the resurgence of the Houston Texans right now. I would have thought the Texans-Bills would have been a marquee game for that October 6th. Instead, the next week is the Bills-Jets. As the marquee game.
The Bills on prime time for 4 out of those 5 weeks. They on a Thursday night with the Jets. They then play Monday night with the Jaguars and then the Sunday night with the Ravens. And you're right, Radman. They could have just topped it off and had the that next week against the Texans. But then they love to see the Aaron Rodgers, the massacre. But when the Bills and Jets, there's always some buffoonery going on, man. So that's interesting to see. But yeah, overall, man, this schedule it is, to me, it looks pretty light. There's only the furthest trip, Arizona going to come to you, but then you, like you said, Radman, I picked up on that the Dolphins, you always want to play Miami, ideally at Miami later in the season. You do have to play them early, but at least it's at night, so that'll be interesting. And then they
not to mention, talking about that Dolphins home advantage, man, the Buffalo Bills did the whole league a favor by crying to the officials, talking about those hot weather games, because the whole month of September, the Dolphins don't host a 1 o'clock playoff game, not playoffs, but a 1 o'clock game the whole month of September. So that home field advantage is completely obsolete for the whole season. It ain't right. It ain't right, NFL, because when it comes to December and January and the Buffalo Bills got mounds of snow, you don't want to move those games. But yet, no games in the first month, no 1 o'clock games in the first month of the year for the Dolphins. It's a disadvantage, and it has to change.
Yeah, no, before I pass it to Big Mike, I just want to make sure I'll be really interested to see what the Bills look like from that Chiefs game. And then it's the bye week, but really it's the after bye week. They're home to San Fran, and then they go to the Rams, and then they go to my Detroit Lions. What up, though, man? Because the last night the Bills in Detroit play was on that Thursday, Thanksgiving. The Bills barely got out of there. That was a game that was delayed due to the snowstorm. The Bills couldn't get out of Buffalo. I'll be interested to see in that 3-game stretch, 49ers, Rams, Detroit. I'll tell y'all now, Detroit is going to represent the NFC and get to the Super Bowl this year. It's their time. It's their moment, and I'll be interested to see that big clash December 15th after going through a very physical San Fran team and a physical Rams team as well to go see Detroit. I'll be excited about that. Big Mike, what do you think about the Bills' schedule?
Taking a look at the schedule, the NFL is finally putting respect on the Buffalo Bills. See us there in prime time, very early into the schedule. So I love to see that Thursday night football prime, Monday night football, and Sunday night football. Hopefully, maybe we'll have possibly Tom Brady announcing those games. Who knows? But speaking of Brady, going down to the New England Patriots, I think seeing them towards the end of the schedule, that is something that could really trip Buffalo up. I really see there's something about New England when Buffalo plays there, when New England comes to Buffalo. Sometimes they just sometimes can have that kryptonite for Buffalo. And I still can't forget, I know Gerard Mayo is going to bring something different, but how they were able to beat the Buffalo Bills only by running the ball. And we couldn't stop anything. We couldn't stop a cold. That type of game, just sometimes New England, they just know, say, hey, if there's only one thing that we need to do to win the game, we're going to do it. And so seeing those games, New England with a week 16, and then at the end of the season at week 18 as well, I think that's going to be something to see, especially if we're able to make it through health-wise and stay healthy. But always going to keep an eye out for that towards the end of the season.
Absolutely. And we lost Von Miller on that Thanksgiving Day game last time Bills played the Detroit Lions. It was a tough physical game. Bills barely won that game, got out of Detroit. They barely got out of Detroit with that win last time. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the second half of the season shapes out. Definitely. And with the signing of the safety, D. Delaney, another veteran guy with experience, I think you can see that the Bills is a work in progress. I think you're going to see them bringing guys in throughout the season, releasing guys, seeing who sticks, who matches up with what they're trying to do, especially with a safety-driven defense, where the safeties make the calls and make the adjustments before the snap of the football on defensive side. So getting a D. Delaney in here with some experience, coming from Tampa Bay, which was a very good defense down there in Tampa. When they showed up a lot of times, they have a good defensive scheme. And then, of course, they signed Marquez Valdez-Scantling. That just lets you know that they're just bringing guys in and seeing what they can do. They released Quintez Cephas, the wide receiver who played with Detroit Lions before his gambling situation took him out the league for a little bit. The Bills released him already. So you can see there's hit or miss. It's going to be work in progress throughout training camp. Don't be surprised, Buffalo Bills fans, to see more veteran guys coming in and other guys being released, because the Bills got to get this trying to figure out who replaces these guys. And Micah Hyde, come on, Micah Hyde, just go ahead and announce you retired, man. Come on. You don't need to be playing games like you're going to come back and do something. Maybe you come back the last 4 games or something.
Yep.
Make sure they come back some way.
Right.
Well, if nothing like that. If you stay with your thing, you play, you earned your money. You earned your money, maybe a coaching position or something of that nature. But come on, Micah, you gotta just go ahead and either announce your retirement. But then, if you want to come back, hey, come back toward the end of the season, going into the playoffs. That's what the veteran guys are doing now.
Yeah.
Yes, Brad, man. Micah Hyde, hey, just bow out gracefully. Hey, maybe start going into coaching. You end up having a bad neck, and just even reacting to the signing of that D. Delaney for that safety position. Damar Hamlin, hey, buddy, you were on an active roster a couple of times, become a fan favorite, but same thing for you. I don't see him making the roster. I think D. Delaney is going to end up taking that 4th safety spot on that 53-man roster. That's my prediction, because Damar Hamlin, I think it's just time to recover, and move on into transition from on the field to something off the field.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And to me, it is never too early. Never too early. When I look at the Bills roster, man, it's going to be interesting. The one who I am looking at, and the point I was going to say, it's never too early to do two things with the NFL. Think about your fantasy football team and thinking about the gambling lines. So I'm excited. The Bills already a 7-point favorite playing at home versus the Cardinals. Marvin Harrison's first game of the season. So that'll be interesting to see. And so it to me, it's going to be interesting. I also just putting it out there, folks, not saying you got to put some money on it just yet, because we got to figure out what the rest of the season and summer looks like, which, by the way, always happy to see. And when the Bills announced that they are going back to St. John Fisher College, so go ahead and check out the Buffalo Bills coming to St. John Fisher College for training camp. I love the Dalton Kincaid. He's going to be on all my fantasy teams. I think this is going to be a big breakout year for him.
Absolutely.
That should be interesting. I know we got our guests getting ready to come in, but I also would say it's one of my favorite bets already, man. I like the Bucks -4 versus the Commanders. Jaden Daniels, my guy, LSU's guy, the Heisman Trophy winner. He got to go up against the Todd Bowles defense in week 1. I don't really like that too much. So shout out to the Bucks. I think they're going to handle the Commanders in week 1, but we're going to have plenty of time as these numbers and lines move. But get all excited when I get to see some betting lines already for week 1. Let's make that money, J-GILLZ. Let's make that money.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, go ahead. We're going to get ready to bring on our guest, Mr. Willie Gibson. He's on live with us, and he's going to give us some great insight on what's going on in Cleveland, what's going on with the Browns, the Bucks, all of that. So want to check in with you, Mr. Willie Gibson. Can you hear us, sir?
Yes,
Came
sir.
in with his own theme music.
Yeah. That wasn't right. That wasn't for this, but I thought it was you at a minute. I was like, wait a minute, is that me?
Yeah. you doing all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How's everybody?
We are doing well.
Good.
Doing well. But hey, we want to just talk with you. Let's go basketball. The NBA players are hot right now.
Yeah.
What's going on, Donovan Mitchell? I'm sure these conversations are about to start piping up hot. What's going on in particular with him and his future? And then if you can, whatever you can share. Jarrett Allen, I've been reading different things. Sound like he had a bruised rib, but he did not want an injection. I don't know if he heard the story maybe with Tyrod Taylor and Justin Herbert. He was like, I'm not doing no kind of injection. Where's Jarrett Allen? Is his teammates respect that stand? What's going on in particular with those two players?
Sure. First and foremost, again, thank you, gentlemen, for allowing me to join you this morning. Jarrett Allen is the most unassuming NBA player I've ever in my life. I mean, he's totally, he builds computers for people in the organization in his spare time. So I say that to say, also, he's not one to be questioned. If he's injured, he's injured. He missed the first 5 games of this season with a bone bruise and played 77 straight after that. So if he's injured, he's injured. And if you remember the game, he got injured in game 4. Jalen Suggs, he took an elbow. Jalen Suggs, and it was a bruise. It was a bruise contusion, and it was basically how he can deal with it. To answer your question, do his teammates question him because he didn't take the injection? No, they don't. And it's always interesting to me that these things get reported by people that are not in the building on a day-to-day basis. And it's, it is what it is. We all have sources. We all have things that we do, but it's always someone that you've never seen in the locker room or around that hears something, but it never seems to pan out. But his teammates didn't question him. They know on a day-to-day basis what he does to stay on the court, to get on the court. He was injured; he couldn't go. Donovan Mitchell, depends on who you believe. It's he's been here 2 years. He seems to be happy in Cleveland. He said he's happy. He said he this season did nothing but want him to move forward in Cleveland. He has a 4-year, $209 million extension on the table. eligible to sign on July 1. I believe he's going to sign it based on the fact that now there's a caveat to that. He'll sign it, but when he signs it, Darius Garland will be looking for a new team. Therein lies the issue. It's a similar situation to the Atlanta Hawks with DeJounte Murray and Trae Young. You have two ball-dominant, undersized guards, and there were times that Darius Garland, while his numbers didn't suffer a lot, he averaged 18 and 7 this year. They just don't fit, and they're not adversarial. They like each other. They get along very well, but on the court, it's just not a fit. So, Rich Paul, Clutch Sports will probably be looking for a new organization for Darius Garland when and if Donovan Mitchell signs his extension.
Absolutely. Now, of the two, we heard the rumors of the Darius Garland, as you just mentioned, them not being fits on the court. As a Cleveland guy covering the Cleveland Cavaliers, the fan base, do they want the superstar who came over, or do they want the guy who's been drafted and developed into that superstar? Who do you think the Cleveland fan base would want if they had to choose?
They want to win. So, yeah, they want to win. And they haven't won. I mean, the Orlando series in the first round was the first series they won without LeBron in 31 years.
Crazy.
They had not won a playoff series without LeBron James since 1993. And then he shows up for Game 4 against Boston, but that's another story. But they want to win. So, I mean, Donovan has ingratiated himself. And let me say this about Donovan. He's ingratiated himself to this community in a way I've never seen. And I haven't seen this reported anywhere else. I reported it the day before Thanksgiving. They played Miami Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve, the day before Thanksgiving in Cleveland. And you enter, the way I entered the arena, there was a food truck there. Now, I entered that arena through that entrance many, many times. I've never seen a food truck at this entrance. And I see a lady, as I she looks familiar. Long story short, it's Donovan Mitchell's mom. Donovan had paid for a food truck to provide pizza and other food to fans as they entered the arena.
Wow.
I hadn't seen it before. And to further the story, his sister was inside the food truck serving.
Nice.
So those type things don't get reported by the mainstream media, and further goes to prove the point how ingratiated Donovan is to the Cleveland community. So I think, if they asked, they've seen he's a two-time All-Star. Darius was an All-Star prior to Donovan coming, but again, that goes back to the fit. His numbers suffered a little bit, but I think they would probably lean towards Donovan.
Got it. I got a two-part question again, two different pieces, but how does it look? First of all, simply put, how good, you talk about how great of a guy he is off the court. And I love that. I know he's coming up from a greater New York area, Connecticut, Westchester area is Donovan Mitchell from. But how great of a player is he on the court? Because I know some folks, even in today's era, haven't seen him really since he was in Utah and now Cleveland. And then talk to us about Evan Mobley out of USC, really young. People try to say he was the next Chris Bosh because he's lefty. I think some of those takes can be lazy, but talk to us about how good of a player is Donovan Mitchell. Similarly, how good of a player is Evan Mobley?
Donovan Mitchell's not good. He's flat out not good. He's great. He's a great player. I mean, he's averaging 27, 5 and 5 since he's been here in Cleveland. And it's not just it's his play, but it's also his leadership. It's also his leadership because he came in at a time where this team was young. I mean, you had Colin Sexton at the time. You had Lauri Markkanen. You had Darius Garland. You had Mobley. And you had Jared Allen. But there wasn't a leader. There were a lot of talented players, but there wasn't a leader. And Donovan came in and became that leader. And it helped that he was also probably the best player, if not the 1A on the team. He is a person that he leads by example. He's going to let you know this is what we need to do. Let's go. Let's go. He's the rah-rah guy that this team simply didn't have. And they fell in line. But it was easy to fall in line because he's a likable guy. And you mentioned Evan Mobley. Quite the opposite. Evan's very unassuming. He's very quiet. Doesn't say a lot. Doesn't say anything, truthfully. But he's developing. A lot of people feel he should have developed more. He should be further along in his path. But it goes back to that fit again. Going back to Jared Allen, a lot of times Jared Allen and Mobley don't play together because the middle is clogged. So you'll play one or the other. And Jared Allen's been the subject of trade rumors the last 3 years. I mean, the Pelicans, David Griffin's been calling Kobe Altman almost daily for the last 3 years for Jared Allen. And he has
a great fit down here in the Bayou. A great fit.
I'm hearing Brandon Ingram, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. But no, he's been, I mean, it was Valanciunas for Allen. Now it's Brandon Ingram for Allen. If Herb Jones wants to get a little bit, he can come too. But we don't. I mean, But again, through all that, he's done nothing but be consistent and produce. So would it? I mean, and also very importantly, in this day and age of the NBA, Jared Allen's in the last year of his contract, so that could be a determining factor. And Evan Mobley's rookie extension eligible as well.
Yeah, 22 years old.
Right, right. So, and you've seen just the taste the last few games in Boston, what Evan Mobley can do when he's featured. And so it remains to be seen. I don't know. Kobe Altman has a lot of decisions to make.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I know we're going to get ready to transition because we got to get ready to get you out of here. But talk to us about the Cleveland Browns. They get, of course, the big primetime game. Mike Rad talked about Tom Brady. I think that's the first game TB12 was going to be calling. Browns versus Cowboys, primetime game, 4:25 kickoff week 1. What's your thoughts as you look at the Cleveland schedule, in particular week 1 with the Cowboys?
Week 1 is key, but after that is interesting because I mean, you start off against America's team, as you said, America's game of the week, 4:25 on Fox. I mean, that's huge. That's a long way from 17 1 o'clock kickoffs that this Browns team had when I started covering this team 6 years ago. I mean, it was bad. So to have that prime time marquee matchup time slot is great. But it's what they do with it. I mean, Deshaun Watson's coming back from an injured throwing shoulder, from what I understand. They haven't been on the field yet, but general manager Andrew Berry says he's throwing the ball about 40 yards now, which in May is fine, but we may ramp that up to about 60, 70 come September 8th. Nick Chubb is going to be out pretty much the first half of the season after recovering from that knee injury he suffered last year on Monday night in week 2. But it's the receivers and the defense. I mean, they brought in Jerry Jeudy. Amari Cooper is here as well, but they also have a lot of young receivers looking to step up. They're looking to have them step up. Jamari Thrash, they drafted out of Louisville this year. They, again, brought in Jerry Jeudy. David Bell, they drafted 3 years ago. Cedric Tillman, they drafted last year. They traded for Elijah Moore from the Jets. So somebody in that group, they're looking to take the next step. The defense, I mean, they did a lot on defense in this draft this year. Michael Hall from The Ohio State University, second-round pick, defensive tackle. Jim Schwartz loves him. He loves him. He's ready to roll. And I think Jacques Césaire from down in Houston, the former Texans D-line coaches in Cleveland now, and they speak very highly of that young man. So him, Nathaniel Watson, linebacker from Mississippi State, is also somebody to look out for. So it remains to be seen. But Kevin, they have an early bye. Kevin Stefanski is not a fan of the early bye at all. Well, they used to have early bye. I think this year is week 10, which is right around the time he wants to have it. But you mentioned September. December is pretty much how they is going to tell a lot about their season. They run the gauntlet. They run the gauntlet. I think it's at Denver on Monday night. Then it's Chiefs, Steelers, Dolphins, Ravens.
Yes.
Ooh, that's your playoffs right there.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yep.
Yeah. At least the Dolphins on December 29th. The Dolphins got to go to Cleveland. All right, I'm taking Cleveland in that matchup.
Yes, sir.
I don't need to see the line on that.
Yes.
Same here. It's gonna be windy that night.
Yeah, a little maybe wind effect, snow, a little bit. 13 degrees maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Willie, I had a quick question for you regarding the Buffalo Bills. You know the young man Dwayne Carter. Can you tell our listener audience here in the area about what type of young man the Buffalo Bills are getting in Dwayne Carter, who was drafted in the 3rd round out of Duke?
Absolutely. Great young man. He's from the Columbus area, about 15 minutes from where I am currently now. 3-year captain at Duke, number 1. I mean, that goes without saying. But as great of a player as he is, I mean, I've seen him play all positions on the defensive line. I emphasize this: he's a graduate of Duke University.
Ooh.
So right. He's a graduate of Duke University. Talented, extremely talented, great person. Was very active in that community, and Durham actually played baseball in high school. And I believe he played baseball his freshman year at Duke as well, pitcher, before focusing on football. But extreme talent on the field. But if I could say, probably a better person off the field as well.
Excellent. And how about Xavier Johnson, the Ohio State running back, wide receiver? Seems like he does a lot. He can play multiple positions as well. Swiss
Army knife. Yeah, he came here, walked on as a receiver at Cincinnati. Played special teams. I think he has over 600 snaps on special teams in his career. Played receiver. Just kind of indication of what he can do. Last year against Notre Dame at Ohio Stadium, he caught a touchdown pass, like a 55-yard touchdown pass from C.J. Stroud. And then on the ensuing kickoff, made the tackle on special teams. So, I mean, very selfless young man, plays some running back this past season against Purdue when injuries depleted that room as well. 2-time captain at Ohio State. Came here as a walk-on to elevate himself to a captain. So again, I try to emphasize a lot about what these kids do off the field as well, and not a lot of them be seen as just numbers and jerseys and helmets. But he's a great young man, and I think Buffalo is fortunate to have him. I hope he sticks.
Yes, indeed. Because I mean, you got the Wolf there in Columbus, Ohio, with Ohio State, and covering the Cleveland Browns and the Cleveland Cavaliers. You have a wealth of sport opportunities there, and knowing those two young men, definitely, that's what the Bills look for. That's definitely what Sean McDermott always preaches. Is each year he's looking for guys with character, not only what they do on the field, but he's looking for character young men to bring on to the Buffalo Bills. And sounds like these two young men are definitely fit the category.
Absolutely.
And in closing, how can we get in contact? How can people follow you, Willie, your articles and things of that nature in the Cleveland area?
Thank you. I appreciate it. You can find me on social media, on X. I'm still saying Twitter, so I had to catch myself. On X at Will Gibson 7. You can find me on Facebook at Will Knows. On Instagram, it's Will Knows Sports.
Excellent. Thank you for coming on Real Deal Sports Show. We're going to have you back during the football season for sure to give us some updates on the Cleveland Browns and also Ohio State Buckeyes during the football season. Thank you. Appreciate Cleveland sports reporter Willie Gibson.
Yes, thank you so much appreciation.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it as well. Enjoy my time.
All right. See you soon.
Indeed. As you can see, we talk sports of all sorts. We take you all over the country. We took you to Cleveland, Ohio today, Columbus, Ohio area. We brought you sports, letting you know about the Cleveland Browns and also some of the Buffalo Bills draft picks that Willie Gibson that covers in that Ohio area. And keep in mind, his appearance was brought to you by award-winning Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, Auto, Home, Health, and Life Insurance, 1038 Lowell Avenue or 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Give her a call, area code 585-360-0094. Give her a call to make sure you're all set for your insurance needs. And Challenger Community News, Western U.S. largest weekly African-American newspaper. Check us out each week. Check out this week, the Top Book of Memory. The Buffalo 10 will never be forgotten. They've always a permanent dedication week on the show, as it happened 2 years ago in Buffalo, New York, at the Dastardly Act that took place at the Top Supermarket. We salute them. Check out all the interviews and the articles, the unveiling of the honor space that took place this week at the in Buffalo, New York, at the Top Supermarket in Buffalo, New York. So check out thechallengernews.com. Fanatic?
No doubt. Hey, just to get ready to wrap it up. Shout out to Charles Barkley. WNBA, yep. But I want to shout out Charles Barkley first. He donated $1 million to our 2 students in New Orleans from St. Mary's Academy. One of them is an LSU student. The other young lady is in college elsewhere. They proved a different way to figure out the Pythagorean theorem that we all had to do. They found out a brand new way to do it. Again, one of them, Kalicia Johnson and Kyrie, they are at 2 different schools, but one is at LSU. Both young ladies from New Orleans, St. Mary's Academy. And Charles Barkley, he does a lot of great work. You can talk about his opinions in any which way. Love that he donated $1 million after watching the 60 Minutes. So go check that out on these 2 brilliant young ladies.
Absolutely. And you see how these people do so much with the food truck, with the Donovan Mitchell. I picked that up from the interview with Willie Gibson. Look how much we don't know about these people
Absolutely.
Because Willie was there reporting, covering the team. He knows, he sees what's going on that not reported in mainstream media. That's why it's important to check out Real Deal Sports Show each week here on the Beat 105.5 and also on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Real Deal Sports Show. Right, Mike Rad?
Absolutely. Streaming every Saturday, no matter what, 8 a.m., 9 p.m., 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
Hey, I will say, check out the big fight today. You'll be watching history if you watch that Tyson Fury or Usyk boxing match tonight. It is over in Saudi Arabia. I think it's noon in the East, or it's 1 in the East, and then 12 my time here in the Central Time Zone. But check that out midday, or if you want to get your sports weekend going before the big games going on. We'll be remiss to not talk basketball as well. But shout out to the boxing match, first undisputed champion since 2000, first one ever in the 4-belt era. And then tonight, hey, real quick, go around. We got 2 Game 7s tomorrow, Game 6 tonight. Who do we like in these series as we finish it up this second round? J-GILLZ.
Man, it's Clash of the Titans, both Game 7s real quick, but I'm going with the Timberwolves and the Knicks.
Woo!
And that would be a heck of a finals, too.
All right. Go ahead, Radman. Who you like?
Pacers. I think Pacers finally going to play inside. They got the physical dominance. Just put the Knicks out of their misery, please. Get rid of the Pacers in 1. And I think the other one, I like the Timberwolves. I think Denver just got a class act. Denver will be able to handle it.
Got it. Big Mike?
I have to end up definitely going with the Timberwolves. And if the Knicks end up finding a way to pull this out, man, that's all. We're going to hear it all across the NBA, all across the news. And I'm here and I'm ready for it.
Hey, I like it. Nobody talked about the OKC, but I'm going to go say OKC they just not going to be able to get it done. So OKC, I think, will win Game 6, but lose in Game 7. And then I do like the Knicks, and I do like the Nuggets, the Knicks and the Nuggets. I'm going with them. The 2 people who ain't Jack, Joker, Jalen Brunson. You don't got to be the most ripped looking dude. Work on your skill and have some will, and you got a chance. So,
my goodness,
you dropped the bombshell.
Like, come on, work on your will.
Straight bars.
That's what we do. And speaking of bars, P. Diddy, get behind bars after that video.
Yeah.
Sick.
Crazy.
I want to grab a bat on him, man.
Allegedly Diddy.
Allegedly.
Watching
that video. It's no more
allegedly, y'all.
No, it's no more allegedly.
That was terrible.
That was. I'm so disappointed. So so disappointed. And I mean, your legacy, bro. Your legacy is tarnished forever. I mean, we could.
Just like we talked about that golfer earlier in the show about how he reacted to things. It's how you react when you're on top. How you treat people. Do you change?
That's who you really are. That's who. Yep. That's what they say. Give people all the money they want, and you will see who they really are. Because watching that video, I was disgusted, appalled, and you know, Cassie got her money, but Diddy should be under the jail.
Yeah, they're using this to tarnish this man's character, as they should. It's a way bigger case that they're looking into, but right now it's a court of public opinion, and dropping a video like that is only, it's used to tarnish his reputation. They still got more. That's not evidence to what they really trying to prove. Yeah. Right. But they definitely tarnishing this man's reputation, as they should.
That's all the evidence I need. I mean, if it's one thing about me, I can't respect men who beat women. I can't respect it. I can't get behind that in no way, shape, or form. And what I seen on that video was so egregious and so appalling, to do a woman like that, man. I gave him the benefit of the doubt until that video came out.
Yeah, but and BacSpin, I think that's it. We've been living a little bit. I know we got to go but we're not usually at a loss for words or shocked.
Right.
Shocked. I literally was shocked. Like, this can't be real. This got to be one of them AI generated. It's not a real video, man.
I was in the barbershop when the news came out, and I let the barbershop know. Shout out to my people over there at Dixon's Barbershop. I let the barbershop know, and it was. I'm like you said, Fanatic. I'm at a loss for words because, this is one of my heroes as far as hip hop is concerned, and what he's done for the culture. But after seeing that video, hey man, he need to be sitting next to R. Kelly right now. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. We gonna leave it on that.
Leave it right there. What BacSpin said, we're gonna roll with it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys. Real Deal Sports Show, Fanatic, J-GILLZ, Radman, and the new member right here. Appreciate y'all, man. And we gonna check back in next week. Y'all have a great weekend.
No doubt. Shout out again to my man J-GILLZ and all the graduates all across America. Get those degrees, baby.
Yes,
proud of that. And all my LSU graduates in particular. So proud of y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The Back in Time Mix Show is on the way. Rochester's Home of Hip Hop and R&B is the Beat 105.5. Keep it locked.